So Brian, we're halfway through the season now. Can we get your thoughts on where the club are in terms of results to start with?
Yeah, clearly we'd like to win more games. We've had some challenges there. Across the board, our win rate's 35%, and to have a winning season, you want to be at 50%. When you're winning at 50% of games, that means that's top four really in our league, in the Aviva Premiership, and it also means that you put yourself in a really strong position to play in Melbourne Challenge Cup finals or the back end of the Premiership competition. 50% is really the high watermark of the win rate for our club and for most clubs. And in the most successful era for our club, 2005 to sort of 2009, that's the team we were winning. We were basically winning at 50%, so every other game, and that puts you ahead of the pack. So we're at 35%. It's clearly not where we want to be. But the big improvement in our output or in results, I guess, has been last season we only collected 3 losing bonus points, and we're already at 5 in the Premiership. So we're probably, if that trend continues, that would be like a 3-fold increase in terms of competitiveness. But we're hoping to turn those 5 narrow losses that we've had in the first half of the season in the Premiership into narrow wins at the back end. So clearly we want to win more, and the target for the back end of the season is to win 50% of our games. And if we can do that, that would be, in the context of the back end of the season, a top 4 type performance. And I think we'd be very happy with that, bearing in mind the injuries we've had and just where we are. We're a developing team and a club very much in transition.
You've touched there on those narrow defeats. We're going to break the game down into defence, attack, set piece. Starting with defence, can you talk us through the defensive side of things?
Yeah, on the defence side of things, we've had a real improvement. The number of tries we've conceded from last season to this season, we've cut that almost in half. So we're really only conceding 2 tries, it's 1.5 tries, so say 3 tries in every 2 games, which means we're very competitive. So that's a 50% reduction, I guess, in terms of tries conceded. On the points conceded, we're down from an average of 27 points a game, conceded down to 21. So again, we're talking about a good improvement, probably a 25% improvement from last season. So that's been reflected in the losing bonus points. We're far more competitive, and we're more competitive because our defence has been better. And clearly going forward for the rest of the season, we've set ourselves a target. We want to get below 20 points in terms of conceded. And the record in the competition is 13 points per game conceded. And I think if we set ourselves a target of between 15 and 18, I think we can be very, very competitive. So I'm really happy with the defence. The structure's fine, and the boys are executing pretty well. Our tackle success percentage is very high. So defence has been one of the good things about our season so far.
Moving on to the attack side of things.
Yeah, in terms of trends, if you compare our attack from last season to this season, probably the biggest factor we're missing, we haven't had Alani, our league all season, and Alani scored 11 tries last year. But we're very similar in terms of production. We're still scoring roughly 2 tries a game, and we're not happy with that because you want to be improving across the board. And so we're looking at ways that we can tweak our attack to improve our output, or to essentially score more tries. And one of the things our supporters can look forward to at the back end of the season is the penalty kicks we get from wide out or from outside of 40-metre zone, so behind the 40-metre line. We'll be looking to put a lot more of that ball into the corner and look to drive and apply pressure that way. It means we improve our chances of scoring tries because you're having a shot at scoring a try rather than kicking penalties. And the penalties, that are wide out or outside 40, we're not converting those at a high enough rate. So we want to put the ball into the corner. So when we get to this midpoint of the season, I know I'm throwing a lot of stats and things around, but that's we're judged by win percentages, and we can only really measure our output when we're looking at percentage improvement or that sort of thing. So I think our supporters will see less penalty shots at goal and more ball going into the corner and back our pack to squeeze our opponents. And as the defence narrows up around the ball, we've got some tremendous back three players that can take advantage of space out wide. So there'll be a slight tactical change in attack in the back half of the season.
Okay, and moving on finally to the set piece as well. You mentioned there Helani Olika, who's missed the majority of the season. Can you talk through the set piece, and obviously we saw against Worcester the marked improvement there?
Yeah, I think set piece has been challenging for us because we're currently without our starting tight head, without our starting hooker, and our captain George has only been available I think for 6 matches so far this season. So it has been challenging up front, but what I would say is the jury's still out. Hang in there. I think we're working really hard at scrum time. We're playing off our own scrum ball. Hasn't really been a problem. We're a team that wants to get the scrum over with quickly and release the backs, and we've done that pretty well right through the beginning of the season. We want to continue that. Where we got ourselves into a little bit of trouble was scrum defence, where some of the bigger packs have tried to keep the ball in the scrum and squeeze penalties out of us. So we're working hard on that aspect, and it's a complete squad effort. But I think as David comes back into the pack as well, hopefully we'll get Helani back and CJ fit and healthy and on the park. Then I think we can shore up some of those scrum defence penalties, and so we can sort that out. On the drive side, I think we started the season with quite a strong drive focus, and then we went away from that tactically for a little while. But since it's been raining, particularly this last month, we've had a big focus on our drive game again. And I think the fruits of that were sort of borne out in the last game's performance. We drove very well against Worcester, and really we put them to the sword on our own drive. We need to be a little bit careful on drive defence, because we do get penalised quite heavily on drive defence, and that can be a big problem for any team. If you concede a penalty around halfway at drive time, you're either giving your opponents a chance to kick 3 points or put the ball in the corner, and then you're defending your try line. So those little indiscretions at maul time and maul defence around halfway for any team in the league, you've got to try and stamp those out, and we're obviously working very hard to do that. But I think we are definitely a work in progress in the set piece, and we will get better, and you'll certainly get better quickly when our starting guys get back into the starting shirts.
And if we were to sit here again in May and summarise the season, what would you specifically like to see a marked improvement in, if I was to say a certain area?
Just our converting tight situations into wins. Clearly we've been in 5 big arm wrestles, and we've lost those 5 arm wrestles, so the losing bonus points, they indicate that you're in a big contest, and particularly the ones at home have hurt us. Losing to Wasps at home, that was a big blow for us, and clearly when we go away to places like Sale, we think we're good enough to get a win at those sorts of venues. So we want to be more clinical. We want to win more games. If we can finish the back end of the season with a winning percentage, anything over 50% win rate, I think that would be on par with the best days at the club, and that's clearly what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Brian.